My husband insisted he was just making new friends. His new friend turned out to be someone he met through a dating app. When I confronted him, he said, "You're just overreacting." He had no idea my calmness was just preparation for the clean break I made. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't see signs. I did. But the thing is, when you're with someone for years, you train yourself not to look too hard. You make excuses for them. You tell yourself he's tired, he's stressed. It's just a phase. But deep down, you feel it. Something was wrong, and I felt it like a weight pressing on my chest every night for months. I'm 39. My husband, Jason, is 42. We've been married 8 years. No kids. We tried for a while, but it didn't happen. That's life sometimes. You adjust, you shift focus, you keep going. I thought we were fine. Not perfect, but solid. I worked full-time as a physical therapist. Jason had a decent job in IT at a logistics company in downtown Columbus. We had a nice 3-bedroom house, 2 cars, and a rescue dog named Millie who pretty much held my heart together. The cracks started slow. He got quiet. Started staying late at work more often. I'd ask him how his day was, and he'd give me one-word answers. We used to have dinner together every night. Then it was a couple times a week. Then maybe once. When he was home, he was always on his phone or at his computer. He stopped reaching for me at night. Barely touched me unless I initiated. Even then, it felt like he was somewhere else. I brought it up gently. "Is everything okay with you?" "Yeah, why?" "You've just been distant." "I'm fine. Just tired, that's all." Then came the line that really stuck with me. "I'm just trying to make new friends." It caught me off guard. I wasn't sure how to even respond to that. New friends? What did that even mean? He said he'd joined some local online groups. Forums, meetups, whatever. Guys who like gaming, hiking, things like that. He claimed he was trying to be more social, since most of his friends had moved or drifted off. He even showed me 1 or 2 Reddit threads, like he was trying to prove something. At the time, I wanted to believe him. I thought, okay, maybe this is healthy. Maybe I should support this. So I did. I told him I was glad he was putting himself out there. But his behavior didn't match that story. The way he guarded his phone. The way he always angled his laptop away from me. The weird smirk on his face after he got certain messages. The way he'd lock the bathroom door when he showered, even though he never used to. And every time I asked, every time I gently questioned it, he made me feel like I was being insecure. Controlling. Paranoid. "You're overreacting." That was the phrase that made me snap inside. I didn't show it. But I felt something crack right down the middle of me. He said it like I was just being crazy. Like I had no reason to feel what I was feeling. That I was imagining things. So I stopped asking. I stopped confronting. I stopped reacting. Because I knew. And I needed time. One night, about a month after that talk, he fell asleep on the couch. Phone still in hand, screen lit up. He'd had a few drinks. I don't even think he realized he passed out. I quietly picked up his phone, took it to the kitchen, and used his birthday as the passcode. It worked. There it was. A dating app? Not just installed, but active. Messages. Matches. His whole profile out there like he was single. And there she was, Danielle. Blonde, 34, works at a dentist office in Westerville. They'd been chatting for 3 months. He told her he was working on leaving a complicated marriage. Said he felt seen by her. Said he wished they'd met sooner. And the worst part? He'd met up with her. Twice. She even sent him a picture of them together. A selfie outside a coffee shop. His arm was around her waist. I stood there in the dark kitchen for at least an hour just scrolling. My hands were cold. My chest felt hollow. But I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't shake him awake and throw the phone at him. I quietly put it back in his hand, walked to the bathroom, turned the shower on, sat on the floor, and stayed there until the sun came up. That day, I called a lawyer. After that night, everything I did had a purpose. I didn't just want out. I wanted him to feel what it's like to be gutted from the inside out. The way I felt reading those messages. The way I felt knowing I wasn't enough, not because I actually wasn't, but because he decided to lie to me instead of talking to me like a man. The next few weeks were a performance. I acted like nothing was wrong. I cooked dinner. I laughed at his dry jokes. I asked about his new friends. I kissed him goodbye every morning like I wasn't planning to erase myself from his life completely. But behind closed doors, I was methodical. I went through every drawer, every cabinet, every folder in the house. I scanned copies of our mortgage paperwork, our joint bank statements, his retirement accounts. I found the usernames to his crypto wallets, screenshots of his Venmo history, and even found a second debit card he'd been using without telling me. I quietly moved half the money into a separate account under my name at a different bank. My lawyer helped me make it legal. Every single move was calculated. At work, I asked for a change in schedule. I started staying late. Not because I had more work, but because I was secretly apartment hunting. I found a quiet little condo in Gahanna, fully furnished, pet-friendly, tucked away with its own private garage. Perfect. The lease went under my maiden name. Then I did something even colder. I scheduled a full weekend trip for him. He'd told me Danielle lived in Indianapolis. Said he might drive out there for a conference. I told him to go. That I'd hold down the fort here and maybe do a girls' night. He bought the lie so easily it was almost insulting. He left on a Thursday morning with a bag in the trunk and excitement in his voice. He kissed me goodbye like he was headed to church. Said he'd call me that night. I smiled and waved him off. As soon as he turned off our street, the movers I hired pulled up in front of the house. By 4 p.m., the house was empty. Furniture, clothes, dishes, my jewelry, the TV I bought, even Millie's dog bed, gone. I'd left him a few things: the coffee table he hated, the stained mattress he refused to replace, a couple of boxes filled with his high school trophies and old gaming consoles. On the kitchen counter, I left an envelope. Inside was a copy of the divorce papers, a breakdown of the assets I'd already split, a list of the accounts now closed, and a printed photo of him and Danielle hugging outside that coffee shop. The note said, "You said I was overreacting. I guess you were wrong." I moved into the condo that night. He didn't call me. Not that night. Not the next. But on Sunday at 3:07 p.m., I got my first voicemail. He sounded stunned, hurt, like someone had flipped his world upside down. He asked if someone broken. He asked if I was okay. Then he started yelling into the phone about how this was insane and unnecessary. Said I was blowing everything out of proportion. I didn't answer. Not then. I let him sit in the empty house. By Monday, he was texting nonstop, begging, apologizing, denying, saying he made a mistake, but that he didn't think it would go this far. Said he didn't mean anything with Danielle. Said he loved me. Funny, he never used that word when he was with her. I blocked him, but not before I sent him a photo of Millie curled up on the couch in my new place. Then something unexpected happened. Danielle reached out to me. I got a message on Facebook from someone with a profile I didn't recognize. No mutual friends. Just the name Danielle R. and a simple message. "Hi. I think we need to talk. About Jason." At first, I didn't respond. But something told me to at least hear her out. When we finally met up at a coffee shop, because I wasn't inviting her into my space, she looked tired. Nervous. Not smug like I expected. She didn't even look like the pictures he had. She looked real. Sad, even. She told me she had no idea Jason was married. That he told her he was separated, going through a rough patch, and living alone. She believed him because he only ever invited her to hotels. Never the house. He said you were cold, controlling, that you didn't love him anymore. I let her talk. I didn't interrupt, but I could feel the rage in my chest. Not just at Jason, but at how easy it was for him to paint me as the villain. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. He wasn't just seeing me. There were others. I sat there staring at Danielle. I didn't want to believe her, but deep down, I already knew. She told me everything. How she found out he was married only after she saw the photo I left him. She recognized her own picture. That's when she started digging. She found his LinkedIn, found my name tagged in an old Facebook post, found our wedding photo buried on my profile. That was when she realized the truth. And apparently, she didn't take it well. She said she felt sick, lied to, disgusted. She wasn't some homewrecker looking to steal someone's husband. She thought she was dating a guy who was going through a divorce, not someone who kissed his wife goodbye before sleeping with her in an Airbnb. I wanted to feel sorry for her. I really did, but I couldn't. Not yet. Not while the anger in me was still burning. Then she dropped the bomb. He was talking to at least 3 other women. I found messages. My stomach turned. She showed me screenshots. Texts from 2 different women, one in Dayton, one in Lexington. Same pattern. Same lies. One even looked young. Too young. This man, the one I gave 8 years of my life to, he was running a damn rotation of women across the region like it was a full-time job. She asked if I was okay. I said yes, even though I wasn't. I left the coffee shop and drove around for an hour. I couldn't go home. I couldn't sit still. I ended up at a park on the edge of town, just watching the trees sway. And that's when I realized I wasn't done. The clean break? That wasn't enough anymore. He didn't just cheat. He played me, lied for months, gaslit me, made me doubt myself. And when I confronted him, he dismissed me like I was some clingy girl making drama. I'd already taken my share. The house, half the savings, my freedom. But now I wanted more. I wanted everything. I reached out to a friend of mine, Angie, who worked in the HR department of a big company downtown. She knew a guy in Jason's company. I told her just enough to get her curious. Within a week, I had information. Jason had used his work email to send messages to one of the women. And not just flirty texts, he had actually sent photos. Inappropriate ones. From his work-issued laptop. He was dumb enough to leave a digital trail through company property. I made a copy. I didn't need it yet, but I kept it. Then I checked our old joint credit card statement. Turns out, he'd been booking rooms in different cities. Hotels, meals, Uber rides. All charged to the card before I split the accounts. And technically, some of those charges were still under my name. I printed everything, built a folder. I was turning this into a case. Next, I reached out to the other women Danielle mentioned. One ignored me. The other one, Lexi, replied. She was furious. Because she thought she was exclusive with him. He'd told her he wanted to build a life with her. She didn't even know about Danielle, let alone me. Lexi didn't hold back. She sent me screenshots. Messages. One of them was sent while he was at my father's funeral 6 months ago. I remember that day clearly. He was weird, distracted, kept checking his phone. I thought it was grief. Turns out, he was sexting some girl in Lexington from the damn church parking lot. That was the final piece. I now had a man who lied to multiple women, used company resources to cheat, charged hotel stays to our joint account, sexted during my father's funeral, and told every one of us that the others didn't matter. This wasn't just betrayal. This was war. I met with my lawyer again. Told him everything. Showed him the documents, the timeline, the screenshots. And then I made the call to Jason's HR department. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I calmly told them there was an issue with one of their employees using company property to conduct an inappropriate relationship, possibly multiple. I emailed them the proof. 2 days later, Jason was suspended. He called me in a panic. You reported me to my job. What the hell is wrong with you? You cheated on your wife with 4 women and used your work laptop to do it. He paused. Then he did what he always does, tried to twist it. You've lost your mind. You're seriously trying to ruin my life over this? That's sick. I made mistakes, but this is revenge. I didn't say anything. I just hung up. I wasn't going to argue with a man who still couldn't say he was sorry. He was fired a week later. And Danielle? She offered to testify in court. Same with Lexi. If he wanted to fight the divorce, he was about to walk into hell. Jason dragged the divorce out for 6 more months. Even without a job, he tried to fight every part of the settlement. Claimed I took things that were rightfully his. He wanted the house back. The dog. Even tried to go after part of my retirement. It was pathetic. He showed up to the hearings looking worn down, bitter, and full of fake confidence. Still trying to spin the story, that I was crazy, that I blindsided him, that I was trying to destroy his life because I couldn't handle a breakup. But it all came out. Every screenshot. Every woman. Danielle testified. Lexi sent in a written statement. Even the HR report was submitted. It painted a picture of a man who didn't just cheat, he manipulated, lied, and violated company policy in ways that cost him his job and reputation. The judge didn't hold back. He granted me everything I asked for. Full ownership of the house. All remaining marital assets. Millie stayed with me, no contest. Jason was ordered to pay part of the legal fees, what little he could afford now. And the best part? Any claims he made about me being unstable or vengeful were dismissed outright. The last time I saw him was in the courthouse parking lot. He tried to catch up with me as I was walking to my car. You really went too far, he said, shaking his head. You could have just left. I looked at him, this broken, smaller version of the man I once married, and said, you don't get to cheat, lie, and gaslight people and then expect them to leave quietly. That's not how the real world works. He looked like he wanted to say more. But I got in my car and drove away. Even after it was over, I had to rebuild myself. I still had moments where I questioned things, wondered if I could have seen it sooner. If I stayed too long. If I made mistakes. And the truth is, I did. I ignored red flags. I let him lie to me. I gave him too many chances. But once I woke up, once I really saw him for who he was, I made sure I finished it the right way. And yeah, maybe I did go a little too far. Maybe I could have just walked away and started fresh. But he needed to know he wasn't untouchable. That his actions had real consequences. And that the quiet, calm woman he dismissed wasn't weak, she was just planning something stronger than revenge. She was building a life without him. I live in peace now. Just me, Millie, and silence that finally feels good. As for Jason? Last I heard, he's living with his sister, working a part-time tech job, trying to rebuild. Let him. He built his empire on lies. I just made sure it collapsed.